Welcome back, Annie. Our next guest is one of Britain. Actually, she's practically adopted Britain, haven't you? Let's just say hello to Lorraine Bacall.
Hello.
We were going to give you the big build-up there.
What happened?
Key Largo, Hollywood's greatest stars and all this sort of thing.
Oh, yes? I didn't know that. What were you going to say?
Well, does it matter?
Yes, say what you were going to say, not what you say.
Why? You're just after a longer rest
Too
period,
early,
aren't you?
yes, right. Exactly.
I sussed you out. We're going to mention the big sleep, Key Largo, to have and have not, and all that sort of thing. But that's all right. We're going to do all
that's
sorts.
too far back.
What we should mention is the up-to-date thing, a piece you've done for British television called A Little Piece of Sunshine.
Right. The Frederick Forsyth piece.
A Freddie Forsyth piece.
Freddie Forsyth piece, yeah.
In which I believe you're married to a governor, are you, of a British island?
I'm a widow.
A widow, right? But you're fiercely opposed. There's trouble, as there appears to be endless trouble on these little
As always, when I'm around, there's trouble, yes.
Is it pre the invasion by sort of 4 million Americans and 2 million people from other countries?
No, I don't think it's that. It's hard for me to think this early.
Don't worry. It's impossible for me to think. But you're fiercely opposed to the British pulling out, apparently.
Yes. And I'm a rather enigmatic character, somewhat mysterious, I hope. I hope it comes across that way. And it's... I had a great time doing it. We had a wonderful time making it. Lots of good people.
Do you still get fresh energy when a new project comes along? Is it almost like yet another rebirth for you?
Oh, I wish it were.
Oh, really? It's tough, isn't it?
No, I do. No, I love to work. That's what I care about most, I guess, outside of my children. I really do love to work, but oh, yes, I have enthusiasm about it always. I mean, you have to, otherwise you can't do it. Isn't that right?
That's right.
That's right, honey.
Sure, yeah.
You met Sir Peter?
I've met him. I met him over 30 years ago. We've been in love ever since.
And
we've even worked together and have survived that, haven't we?
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, not under that circumstance.
Well, the more roles you adopt, do you get more critical or less critical when those scripts come through the front door?
Well, I suppose I've always been very critical of myself anyway, and I guess I'm generally critical. You want always to have the best work given to you because you want to do the best work, and the longer I'm in this business, the more I want to do and the better I want to be. But the material, unhappily, is scarce. They're not writers don't seem to be writing. They're not writing parts for women, and they're not generally writing. It's not easy for anyone to find good roles.
It's interesting. I just got a theory. Sometimes you casually watch Strange Hours of the Day, some of the older films, and what strikes, I think, many people is that the story seems more fleshed out. They're bigger. There's more attention paid to tiny incidents. Do you go along with that? Do you think that there's a more skeleton approach nowadays?
Well, I think there's been so much dependence on violence, which is just visual and doesn't require a lot of thought, that I think we've lost a lot of texture that used to be in movies. They don't make movies anymore. I love movies. Films get a little bit too, gets a little too kind of grand.
See, in the films we mentioned there, Key Largo, The Big Sleep, To Have and To Have Not, and a whole host of other films, there'd be something happening in the foreground, but in the background, you'd be aware of, say, a man stroking a dog in the background, or somebody dipping a cigarette. The little incidentals fill the screen as well.
Yes, well, I think that's all part of thought. I mean, that things were always rounded out. That my brain isn't working too well. You'll have to forgive me. But
you're working very well.
It's. I suppose things were fleshed out more, but plots were and characters were, and it's not so much the time was given to them because a lot of the movies that I was in that Howard Hawks directed, he didn't take a lot of time. I mean, it only took 11 weeks to make To Have and Have Not. That's not terribly long, and Houston was a very quick shooter of movies, and so I don't think it has to do with the time element. It just has to do with the way people's minds work then, as opposed to now.
If there's been that kind of change, have the people that play the parts, have they changed? Has their approach changed? Is it too much a job of work?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously the people have changed, but I believe that television has eaten up talent very quickly, and everyone wants instant entertainment, you know, and nobody wants to think too much because
an
they keep
interesting-
flicking the dial all the time and going from channel to channel. In America, there are 89,000 channels. And I watch my sons and they go bum, 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 bum like this because...
That's a very interesting thought. I mean, the man you married, Humphrey Bogart, Cagney, all of them, would they have survived
marry all of
television? Don't be difficult. Would they have survived, do you think, in the same way if television had relentlessly exposed them, relentlessly put them on week after week?
Well, I think they would have survived because I think they were unique. They were. And I think they had true talent. I don't think it was an accident that they were stars and were stars for as long as they were.